Welcome to episode 55 of the Greeting Mashiach podcast. Maybe we went on hiatus, we're waiting. Meanwhile, Mashiach will come anyways. But seeing as we're still waiting, it's time for another episode. A lot has happened in the world, most recently as of recording of this podcast. The big news that everyone's talking about is in South America. Obviously, Nicolas Maduro was deposed by an 88-minute mission by the U.S. Forces. The army went in under Trump's rule and extradited him to New York City, right under the toes of Mamdani. So that's a lot of fun for everybody, whatever your politics are. You know, if you're American, you're feeling proud. It's a big thing, and something that can happen for years, and people are waiting. A good thing, a moral thing. You know, getting rid of the evil in this world. You think it's impossible. You look at newsreels of people saying, "Oh, it'll never happen. It's impossible to happen." He's been there for so long. Why is no one doing anything about it? And literally, almost kehedef ayin, somebody with some guts who's not willing to tut out was can't to get business done. He goes in there. Obviously, they practiced. They prepared. You know, we know they had a fortress that was built like his fortress, and they practiced over and over again doing the job. It took work, but Lapaya push came to shove. It happened in a matter of minutes. The whole thing was over, with no Americans killed. You know, all of the equipment came back. It's an amazing thing. You see, things you think are not possible, they're not shaykh. No. They are shaykh. They are possible. You need to take initiative. You look at the Afghanistan war, and it makes you think, you know, maybe that could have been the same thing. All these other wars that we had less competent presidents in charge of, with less siyata d'shmaya, that took forever and a day, and so many people died, etc., and they're sitting there in Gullus, you know, and it's no good. Maybe all you really needed was a new president. All you needed was somebody who was competent to come in and do things smartly and do things differently than they've been done in the past. So the first obvious lesson, you've been sitting so many years over here in Gullus, it's 30 years after Yom Tammuz, 32 years almost. It's like, oh, we can't do it. Nothing. Yeah, it's not shaykh. Yeah, whatever. Just keep doing the regular thing. It's like, no, you actually, you don't have to keep doing the regular thing. You need somebody with initiative to actually do the hard work, and then push comes to shove, you can have the gulak kehedef, and the world. You can get rid of the bad people in the world, even while you have the Clippers still fighting and saying it's not possible. Like you have the Mamdanis of the world. He's the mayor of New York City. What do you mean? How do you do it?
Calling you up. They're calling you on the phone.
He is not the real mayor of New York City. Forget garden houses now. The real mayor of New York City is Davidster, is the Bobby Rebbe. He's the one who is the Empire State. It's Davidster's empire. And Mashiach at its front. They ever spoke about that the whole UN, whose charter is to bring peace to the world, allegedly is really that was created because the Rebbe was in New York City. The Frierdiker Rebbe is in New York City. Things work differently. Even to say, oh, it's my city. No, it's not his city. It's the federal. Here's this example. It belongs to America, so they can do whatever they want. It's going to court. It was very interesting. You have these people who come from communist countries that are used to hearing kangaroo courts where there's no real justice. The whole concept is foreign to them. He was shocked by the amount of rights he has in America as a criminal. He's like, hold it up. I can ask for bail. What's this? I get a lawyer. I get a fair hearing. He never heard. I don't have to talk if I don't want to. What I say outside of counsel doesn't count. He doesn't. He never heard of these things. These are not concepts he was he was aware of. We're blessed to live in America, in a country that's free, and for us, obviously, means we're free to do Torah and mitzvahs. But the ultimate freedom, Torah tells us, is not these things. It's the freedom of Ein lecha ben chayrin ela misha eizek b'Torah. The true freedom is to serve is the theocratic fascist dictatorship of Melech HaMashiach, where he'll be king over the world, enforcing.
It's not fascist dictatorship because it's going to be voluntary.
It will be by the people. He'll be king.
It's a Kabbalah Samalchus.
It will be Kabbalah Samalchus. Well, in the beginning, he's kind of just going to, but he will impose his will on people who are like. If there will be people who are not interested, all the goyim, all the guys over there who are not interested
I think I
in.
think I think that's the Rebbe's chiddush. The Rebbe's chiddush is that it's going
No,
to
but
be
like
voluntary.
from a purely technical standpoint, he'll be a
Ah,
king. He'll be Yilcham Chamas Hashem. He'll fight the wars of Hashem. He will impose the strict rule of Haya Shalom Melech HaKol Haaretz, and God's rule will be over the whole world. He'll make it his business. It's his business to make sure that the whole world follows what David wants. And the Rambam explains that Mashiach will be such a brilliant king, smarter than Shlomo HaMelech, and such a big prophet, almost to the level of Moshe Rabbeinu, that he will be able to influence the entire world. He'll show everyone that they should follow the Eibishter, listen to Torah mitzvahs, that this is the way. And there are some people who will fall to the wayside because they are not redeemable. They're irredeemables. Like for those of you who are learning Torah, which I highly recommend, a new podcast called The Greeting Mashiach. I recommend the Greeting Mashiach podcast, but also the Chassidish Parsha podcast. A little plug for my other podcast where I go through the whole Chassidish Parsha every week in English. Very geschmack to make the whole thing possible to do the Rebbe's Takana, which the Rebbe mentioned, the Chayesar, Tavshin and Beis, to learn the Chassidish Parsha. It's now accessible to all in English in a not so long every week. So there we came by recently in the Hisafis, I think of Vayechi, this idea that the world is split up into three. Shem, Cham, and Yafis, the three children of Noach. And Cham is at the end of the day, push comes to shove, he's irredeemable. He's no good. I don't know if it talks elsewhere in Chassidus that there'll be a different beer, but for what it says there, it's simply speaking, they'll be deleted when Mashiach comes, and they will not be part of the equation anymore. So there are some people that Mashiach will get rid of, and but the rest of the world will be elevated. They'll be shown the beauty. Means not only Yidden, it means the entire world, and we're seeing now a crazy revolution in AI that we're literally seeing unfold before our very eyes. This idea of how we won't have to do any work. It's tremendous. I'll tell you something that happened to me just today. A new feature I discovered on ChatGPT. There's something called agent mode. It will surf the web for you and do things for you. Like I wanted to do research to make a flight. It'll open up a little mini browser in the ChatGPT thing. It'll look up whatever parameters you give it, the flight to this day, to that day, nonstop or not, in this place, this airline, not that airline. It'll look it up for you. You can input the information. It'll make the flight for you, the whole business.
it'll book it.
Yeah, whoever thought of such a thing? At any point that you need to put information, you can take over the controls and put in your credit card or whatever. But there'll be a time in the not so near future when the concept, the idea of Allah, the Rebbe spoke always about how you don't need to have the whole Geula happening now. Or be where the Geula will be then. But it's important to find the me'ain of it now in Galus. It's important to see how this is not a chiddush. It's not a novelty. You see this idea in Galus. You see already now this idea of Allah Yesa Kalalim Kulei.
You see how we can get there.
Correct. You see the concept exists in the world. We have AI now. We have robots with a little bit better technology and a little bit better AI and a little more capitalism. You can make it in free markets. You could
Keep it free.
You can make you could see that the tools are there. It needs to be worked on. It needs to become more in the world. But you'll see that indeed. I think it was in Teres Yechiyem that it says that there'll be madanim. There'll be taka. They'll taka be the madanim, but they'll same kafir. They won't be worth it. You won't care. It's like
saying Mamdani will be dust. Mamdani will be considered like dust.
He'll be considered madanim.
But it's something that I've been thinking about this since Shabbos. Really, my father asked me like, what's the Mashiach?
What's the angle
perspective on the whole event? And Rabbi Wolf is doing a few part shir. He started last night and today and so on and so forth about how you could see how it fits into the whole Mashiach is here and revealed and what we have to do and all the amazing beautiful things 2026 Tavshan and Pei Vav. But I was like, thinking for myself, like what can I bring to the table? What perspective can I bring? Can I add to the conversation? And then it struck me like the Yalkut Shemaini is so, it's something that is on everybody's lips for sure in the past 2 years, but even before, famously, Yossi Green made a song, B'Shah Shemelech HaMashiach Ba, yo 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 yo,
What's this song?
I made al gag. But so the point that from that the song is, and then these words is so the Yaakov Shemini says like this: B'Shah Shemelech HaMashiach Ba. So obviously you have the Shana Shemelech HaMashiach Nigla, there's the year, and then after that we get to the hour that Mashiach comes. The hour that
Which
Mashiach
Yossi
comes.
Green totally thought of himself and was not related to the Rebbe. He totally thought of this Medrash himself,
Correct.
as per Yossi Green. But yeah.
So, so the Yalkut Shemaini says that the hour the Mashiach comes, he'll stand at the Gag Beis Hamikdash, Oimed al Gag Beis Hamikdash, ve'omer Mashmele Yisrael. He calls, he hearkens unto the Jews, and he says, "Anovi migias man golaschem, humble ones, the time of your redemption has arrived." And it says, "Ve'imeinatem aminim," and if you do not believe, how can you not believe? See my light that is shining upon you. So, there's the famous the understanding of the first part of the Yalkut Shemaini, the Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, the year. It's going to be wars, and then the Eibusha is going to tell them. And then we have Mashiach is going to be standing in the Beis HaMikdash. So everybody, obviously, understandably, if this is all they know about Mashiach, everybody's awaiting this period where we're going to have the Beis HaMikdash, and on the Beis HaMikdash a guy is going to climb onto the roof, and he's going to scream as loud as he can, Mashiach is here. The time of your redemption has arrived. But no one stops to think about how, not absurd, but seemingly, if you're trying to understand it, it seems a little weird why Mashiach needs to tell us that the time of your redemption has arrived if we're in the Beis HaMikdash, number one. And number two...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lahavdil, whatever, I feel bad saying this, but it's too funny. I don't know if people saw, there was memes going around of Trump standing on the roof of the White House, talking to reporters, telling them what's going on.
Yeah. Lahavdil, $5. All right.
But it's unique because normally you don't stand on the roof. Yeah, that's not
correct. It's not right. That's your point. But the second question is, why would we not believe? What's there not to believe? We're in the Beis HaMikdash. We are seeing a guy on the roof of the Beis HaMikdash, and he's telling us that the time of your redemption has arrived. Why wouldn't we believe? And what is this? Anyways, so I was a few. I think it was Yom Kippur.
People are not going to believe they're going to say the whole Beis HaMikdash is a Zionist op. They won't believe it's the real Beis HaMikdash. It's the Israel First advocates.
Maybe. But the Yom Kippur after October 7th, I think Rabbi Y.Y. Jacobson had he sells speeches. So one of his speeches, which is very, very Geschmack of Art, he was talking about see my light. He gave a whole pshat on what it means, why we wouldn't believe. But the point that he was trying to bring home is to look at all the miracles and see how the miracles are Mashiach's light. And it's sort of like, Mashiach's light is around us, and we just need to bring it in. We need to open our eyes. He gave a bunch of different things that sounded good. And it sounded so good that I was like, this is exactly what we need to do. We are in a situation, believing that the Rebbe said that this Yalkut Shemaini has already been fulfilled. Mashiach has already stood on the Beis HaMikdash, and he explained that. What does that mean? That means that the Gagas Niskachu, that the roof has not yet been, is not.
It's less holy. It's not
correct,
made holy like the Beis HaMikdash.
It's probably talking about the Beis HaMikdash in Golus and the Beis Rabbeinu Shababavel, and the Rebbe explained how it could be fulfilled, this Yalkut Shemaini. And based on that, I can understand why there are people, how it could be ve'imeinatem aminim. How could be it possible that you don't believe?
It was a big afatzas hamayan of this idea out to the world on on the WhatsApp platforms on CBN. Thanks, doch.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You got
CBN, what's his name? Geschmacke Herring, tagged on Instagram. Check him out. He's a very, very Geschmacke guy and loves herring. But he also loves Mashiach. And it's actually really, really cool because it's like he's like mainstreaming the Mashiach idea. It's in a very cool way. Anyways, I think he's still in Crown Heights, but back in the United States. He was in the army, whatever. But he was interviewing a bacher outside 770 and asking about him, Eretz Yisrael, the Kaisel, the holiness of the 770, whatever. And the bacher said, a little vart, little part from the basic Kuntras based Rabbeinu Shabbat a sikha that the Rebbe said, or it's actually
it's a compilation. Sikha that Rebbe published, edited and published.
Edited and published of things that the Rebbe said about the holiness of 770 and how it is the place where the Shechina, the Iker Shechina, the main dwelling place of the Shechina during the time of the Beis HaMikdash was in the Beis HaMikdash, and from there it spread out to all the shuls and all the Bati Midrashis, all the study halls in Eretz Yisrael and in the world. And the Rebbe said that in the time of exile, the Gemara says that the Shechina went, that idea transferred onto the Beis Rabbeinu Shabbat, the leader of the generations shul. That's where things. So now in the leader of the generations shul, that's where it's the main resting, and then it goes from there to all the other shuls.
So was all this information included in this clip?
No. So WhatsApp news chat, I guess. Yeah, is that how he would?
It's a WhatsApp community where there's like a whole bunch of chats that he posted or a community, and there's thousands of people.
Continue the story.
So what happened was this guy took a video of this bacher and asked him, "Oh yeah, look, where's Holy or Yisrael or the Kaisel 770?" And the bacher was like, "Yeah, 770 all the way, holy place in the world, yada yada yada." And the whole video is 40 seconds. There's not really a lot of information there. It sounds pretty radical. So CBN, Mr. CBN Shlita, he posted a video on, one of these candid asking a bacher in the street. He posted a video on his channel and he said, "Does Chabad Chaver help me out here? Is this a legit shita, or is this cap? Like, what's the story?" So a number of Chabad people, responded to him, and myself included. And I left him. I told him it's very short. It's legit. I left him start a conversation. Left him a 2-minute voice note explaining the concept of the idea, like you were explaining before, that it's based on a Gemara that the Shechina went with the Yidden into Galus. And the Gemara talks about different Beis Medrash. Where's the Shechina? Where's the main place where the Shechina is? That's a particular place. That depends on who's the Nasi Adar, and where Hayra goes out to all the Yidden, like the Beis Hamikdash. And our generation, the Rebbe is obviously of the opinion that the Rebbeim of Chabad are the Nasi of the leader of the generation, and therefore 770 is the place in our generation where the Shechina is, because this is where the Nasi Adar is, and this is a place from where Hayra goes out to the whole world. And the Eibishter is going to reveal himself in Golos, and it says V'shav Hashem will return with us from Golos to Geula. That means the Hashem will be revealed in Golos, and this is going to be where the Shekhinah is going to be revealed. So that's why the first stop at the Beis Hamikdash is going to be by 770, and 770 is going to be attached to the wall of and each generation, the main shul where the Shekhinah was, those will be directly attached to the 770. To the Beis Hamikdash, and all the other shuls will be attached to those shuls. So it's the literal physical place that the Beis Hamikdash, Gufa Makim Mikdash Dlasad, that Rebbe said. Anyways, I explained all this in a 2-minute voice note. So he posted it along with that keta of the Sikha that other people sent him, the screenshot of the Sikha, along with the Shir I gave in 2019 on the Sikha in 770. And his point was, it's a legit, and he posted it to all the chats. He said, this is a legit Chabad Shita. And the thing that struck, was talking about it with some chavra. They were saying that what's so unique, first of all, it's Gavaldik, spreading this message to everyone, that Rebbe's the Nasi Adar. I spoke to somebody else, I know, and he was like, who cares, what's the difference? Like, You're telling the whole world, that, yeah, the Rebbe is the Nasi Adar, the Rebbe is the leader of the generation, and not just like in a little way. No, no, no. To the point that the Beis Hamikdash is first stop of all of the generations. It's coming down to 770. That I don't mean it in like a yeah, pick whichever Rebbe you want. It's all good. Like no. It's like 770 is where it's at. Anyways, so you're saying how you see that when we have our situation together and we're cohesive, from all the guys on WhatsApp to YY, it's edited, it's printed, and you say, okay, it's a legit shita. You might say this is one of the most radical, crazy things you can say. The Beis Mikdash coming to 770. 770 is the holiest place in the world. What are you talking about? Have you been to 770?
I'm
you
sure
say,
everybody knows about the tunnels. That's how they know about 770.
I cannot believe I cannot believe how tunnels became such a big deal.
Yeah.
Ad Hayem is in circles where people talk about politics and these things. The tunnels, it's ubiquitous. Tunnels, the thing. It's a Gevara Nazach, tunnels. Nobody knows Pratim, nobody really cares. It became part of the culture. The Zazach, the Jews, tunnels.
Digging tunnels.
Mamish, the Kleinchika Maisa, that Mamish, no shaykhs, the whole story, like nothing. Mamish ballooned into this big thing. It's mind boggling. At any rate, so you see, we're sometimes scared. You have a crazy sheet that'll be impossible. Nobody will ever accept it. No. If we do not stand with a united front and we all pretend like it's not true and we're all scared of our shadow, we hide from ourselves and pretend like it never happened, then yeah, it will not be accepted. But if you come together, Chabad, Pa'echad, and we all say, yeah, this is what the Rebbe says, this is what we believe. Okay, that's what they believe. That's the shita. All the people will accept it. They won't accept it personally, but it'll be. You won't have to embarrass them. It'll be accepted as a valid shita that people can feel comfortable accepting. Oh, you're Chabad. You believe that the Rebbe is the Nasi Adar and 770 is the holiest place in the world where the Beis Hamikdash is coming. Okay, interesting.
I just had a fascinating conversation today. Someone that came across our podcast, not a Lubavitcher, and he was curious. He called me up. He found my number, and we had an interesting conversation. He asked me like sort of like point blank, and it was funny being asked such questions because putting you on the spot. But then at the end of the day, if you have a belief, you'll answer the question honestly. You're not. I'm not a politician, so I'm not like looking to like answer with the nicest and the most what's it called, loving and caring answer. But obviously, you do it in a loving and caring way. You say the truth. But he asked me like questions like if we believe, so strongly that Rebbe is Mashiach and this and then the other. So it was an interesting way of asking it because it was like sort of like, if you believe it, then why aren't you telling people? Like, why don't you go to the the Gedolim, the Gedolei Yisrael, and like try to get them to
the $1 million question. Like, if you really believe it, go all the way. What do you mean?
Correct. And he was,
but it's the way about Torah itself. What do you mean? Yeah.
1 second. He said like Shabbos, like if there's a person that knows Kol Torah Kula and he's a Shomer Shabbos, not Shomer Shabbos, he's a Shomer Torah Mitzvahs and this and the other, but he just has this one thing about keeping Shabbos. He doesn't keep Shabbos. So like whether it's because he knows about Shabbos and he doesn't keep Shabbos, or it's because he just doesn't know about Shabbos, you're going to want to talk to him. You're going to want to reach out, like why aren't you keeping Shabbos? Let's talk about it. He's like, do you see this idea the same way? And I answered, I believe that it's the same because it's the fundamental. The Rambam lays it out as a fundamental in faith. He asked a question like this. He asked, if there's a person that goes through the yeshiva, he goes through the whole system, and he's he learns for all the years, and he's b'shkida b'asmada, and he's keeping Torah mitzvahs and all these things, and at the end of yeshiva he comes out and decides, I'm not going to keep Shabbos. Do you see that person the same? He has a moral failing, and then there's
not all moral failings are the same.
1 second. That's a moral failing. And then you have a yeshiva bacher who goes through the system and he believes that Rebbe is Mashiach. He understands he gets it in all the ways that we are explaining it, that he's already chosen as Mashiach and this and the other and all the things. And then he comes out, okay, he doesn't believe that Rebbe is Mashiach. He decides to not continue in that belief and so on and so forth. Like, are they a similar moral failing? Do you see them both as moral failings? So I said, yes, I see them both as moral failings because...
I don't understand the question. What's the question?
The question is, are you going to approach it in the same way that you want to figure out why the person is not keeping Shabbos, why the person is not believing that I was Mashiach? Or and as another equivalent would be a non-firm person that doesn't know anything about Judaism. You're going to go to him and you're going to try to teach him about Shabbos in a very nice and going to teach him about Yiddishkeit and teach him slowly but surely build him up to keeping Shabbos. And a person that doesn't know about Mashiach, you're going to do this similar thing. You're going to slowly but surely build him up, teach him about Mashiach, teach him about the concepts, and slowly but surely get him to reach this belief that the Rebbe is Mashiach, and therefore we have to accept him and all of these things.
I think it's like anything else. We want Torah mitzvah is the most precious thing. You have a Jewish soul; it's the most precious thing.
So I said it's the same.
Okay, what did you say?
Why is it the same? Because it goes to the foundation of your belief in God and Judaism and everything. Because and it's not just that I can be a chakale b'chayim sheyaveh and a random person. Like for someone who doesn't know about is sort of ignorant to Nunaf Nun Beis, sort of ignorant to the Rebbe's message, I can understand how you can believe in Iker number Yud Beis of believing a chakale b'chayim sheyaveh and all these things, chakale b'yasai, and not. And not believe that I was Mashiach.
Focus on the Rebbe.
I could see I could see how those two things can happen. But if you know that I was Mashiach, and not only do you know that I was Mashiach, but you know it in its full sense of Nunalf Nun Beis, meaning you know that the Eibush already appointed him and all these things.
It means
so
you agree that that's true. What do you say? Yeah.
You know that concept exists.
Just like a person knows about Shabbos, he just doesn't keep it.
Correct, in a real way, meaning you know that God wanted to keep Shabbos. You know all the laws.
Okay, well, in that sense, we're all failing at some level because we're not doing a good enough job, and the proof is that we're still in Gullus. I mean,
what?
We all maybe know about it, or those of us who know about it, and we're not doing a good enough job implementing what the Rebbe asked of us.
Meaning, let's take me for example, right? My belief in the coming of Mashiach, my achakale b'chayim sheyaveh, is specific to the Rebbe. I believe.
Correct.
I am believing. My fundamental is that I believe that the Rebbe is going to redeem us. Correct. So if you are a person that knows the Rebbe is Mashiach and you do not believe that the Rebbe, you're not consistently awaiting that the Rebbe is going to shehu yigalenu, so then yes, you are failing in your belief in achakale b'chayim sheyaveh. There is a detail of achakale b'chayim sheyaveh that is leading you to that you're missing.
So where we're going to? So I think the maskana here is that just like anything else in Yiddishkeit that we care about, you try your best to influence people to you. All the shluchim are busy trying to make people to care about their mitzvahs, but you don't stuff it down their throats. You have to do it in a way that will actually be b'tachpeinim, in a way that will be meaningful to them, in a way they'll actually appreciate it and start doing it. I think it's the same thing when it comes to Mashiach. Yes, we want people to do it, but screaming and yelling in the streets and knocking at everyone's head.
Correct.
Maybe some places that's useful, but
so I answered. I said, like, yeah, I'm not, and it's not that I'm superior in that I am, I know better than everybody else, and I'm pointing to people and laughing and saying how, oh, you don't know, and blah blah blah. Rather, it's coming from a place of, I have information that I want to share with you. This is how I want to do it, and it's more of, I care about you so much, I love you, that I want you to know about this, and it's a little shocking that and to the point of the topic of our discussion, if that's how you approach it, if you approach it in Tmimus, this is my belief. And this is what I believe strongly. And because I believe strongly, therefore it leads me to find people and to teach them about it. So then people are going to be more open to hearing you out, because you're coming with a shita, like you said. That's at the end of the day, there's two things that we're trying to bring out in this podcast. Number one, the first part of this podcast was talking about the amazing miracles, and I think it goes to this idea that if you have a trouble with believing that Mashiach is here, just look around and try to look for those things. Look at the light. The Mashiach is shining his light on you. He's doing miracles. He's affecting the world in such an amazing way, in such a clear way that some people don't see it, but that's what we should be doing. If you have and really this goes to all of us. All of us at some point in time, something happens, like we spoke in the last podcast. Something happens that makes you like think for a second. Hey, wait, maybe it's wrong. Maybe this and then the other. But then you're like, wait, no. Look at my light. Look at the things that are clear, and look for those things to help you go back to your belief that it's true that Mashiach is on the stage. And to the second idea, the second concept is that when you're clear from machshava dibra ma'aseh throughout, you have a consistent worldview, and because you have a consistent worldview, it'll translate to ma'aseh, to the way you speak to other people. People will accept it, and even if they don't accept it, they'll hear you out. They'll respect you for having a consistent opinion. And I think this is a failing of ours that, to a certain extent, we all fail in this, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that don't know about this. There's a lot of people that don't know, right? The Kunstbase of Rabbeinu Shabbat, the story that you just said, it's amazing that in a sad way, that over 30 years after the Rebbe edited it and published it, there are still people that don't know about it. And that's failing on every single person that subscribes to the Rebbe's teachings and to the Rebbe's directives. It's a failing in all of us. How is it possible that there are people that don't know about this? And you don't have to be a Y.Y. Jacobson. You don't have to be a Simcha Jacobson. You don't have to be a Manas Friedman. You could be a Simcha Binyamin, a Simcha Fisch that that is on WhatsApp, and it came across the CBN channel. And
this is why it's important to spend all your time on WhatsApp. No, I'm kidding.
But the point is that even a person that seemingly doesn't think they have so much influence, I had this question for a long time, like, what do you expect me? I'm not Y.Y. Jacobson. I don't have such a platform to be able to do this. And yet I'm able to have an impact on, first of all, myself. That's the biggest thing in the world, to have an impact on yourself, impact on your family, on your immediate surroundings. And if, you can have a WhatsApp channel. I know someone who just started a WhatsApp channel. He's already affecting a few people. He's talking to the shluchim around him, and he's having an impact.
A WhatsApp channel?
Yeah.
I personally hate WhatsApp channels. I banned them from my phone, matter of fact.
That's, good for you.
That's a preference, though, everyone's...
Correct. But the point is that every single person has the responsibility of being mevasa the geula, of publicizing the news about the redemption. Mashiach, and I think this goes to the literal thing about the Mashiach standing on the roof of the Beis Hamikdash. It's like, Mashiach's voice can only get to a certain place. Like, as loud as Mashiach can scream, it ain't getting that far. And it's the responsibility on the people
that particular issue is not bothering me.
Correct, but I'm saying
he doesn't have literal like laser light shooting from his hand. Like, look at my light.
No. But I'm saying it goes. I think this goes on to like what can we do about it? Is it goes on the responsibility of the people that are nearest to Mashiach to
we are the Rebbe Shefer.
Pass it on. We have to pass it on to the next person that is next to us. The person might have not heard. He was spacing out for a second, and it's not his fault. It's not his fault. It's your fault for knowing the message and not. It's my fault for knowing the message and not giving it over to a person. And that's what we have to do. We have to learn the message. We have to internalize the message for ourselves and not let it stop at ourselves, but it should immediately have an effect on someone else. And I think that's the most important thing, is to learn in Yanagul Mashiach, learn in all the sources, starting from Tanakh, from Torah, from Nevi'im, Chesuvim, going down all the way through the last Sicha of Parshas Vayakel as we stand today, and of Tavshin and Beis. And it should continue learning all the sources, and then taking that and giving it over to people, because that's what we need to do.
Yeah. So in this past week, Sicha from Beis Vayechi, Beis,
quickly, because we don't want to do too long.
There talks a lot about but Yaakov Avinu lo meis, which we have previously on this podcast compared to the Rebbe. but that they're directly related to the Fisch Rebbe. The Fisch Rebbe it's talking about the Nasira that the Fisch Rebbe as well is like Akavin Lemeis. And the way the equation works is Mazara b'chaim fu b'chaim, just like his descendants are alive, so too there compares it that he too is alive, and that we have to continue spreading the message of the Rebbe. But the Rebbe says that it compares to the Zara, that they have seeds of planting. Golos is compared to planting, which it talks about in Torah. But the Rebbe says that when you plant something, when the Nasi plants an idea, even if he moves on afterwards to another idea, it stays. The words of the Rebbe stay forever. The words of Moshe Rabbeinu, the words of Yaakov, they stay forever. They don't go away. Even so to speak, like, seems that saying like even after Gimel Tammuz, like the words of the Rebbe stay. They don't go, and you stay connected to the Rebbe. The Loy Meis. It's a bit cryptic. You look at the Sikha there, but there's a lot of heavy post Gimel Tammuz vibes there, material that like Yaakov and Meis, and the Rebbe says the whole Koyach, the last parsha in the Torah, the Chazak, for the entire rest of the Torah, which the whole rest of the Golos and everything that happens afterwards is Vayechi Yaakov. That's the Rebbe says that's what gives the strength for the Yaakov is the Bria Chatichin. He's the Torah, the Kegat Kulam that goes through, that gives the power for everything that's going to be is the Vayechi Yaakov, for all what's going to happen afterwards in Golos. Yaakov in Eloi Meis. So it's very powerful. We need to learn that Rebbe's Torah. We have to know that it doesn't end, doesn't stop. People are, well, is it still relevant now? We have to maybe reinvent the wheel. We don't have to reinvent anything. It's the same Torah, the same Rebbe. Is the Chodesh gebitten, nothing changed. We have our marching orders. We need to learn it. We need to get it done. We need not be scared of anything. This week's among Chassidim in the podcast of Shlomo Kunin. He's an example of a chassid that came to California and fearlessly and ruthlessly took over California and made it the Eibishter, made it the Rebbe's. He wasn't scared of nobody. Not everyone is Shlomo Kunin, perhaps, but in your own in your own life, do everything you can. And he said it there. It's the opening of the header of the podcast is the Rebbe said it. You gotta do whatever you can.
And he does. Even at his ripe young age, he goes
Of 86.
Every Shabbos Mevarchim he goes to the Rebbe, and on the
How old is he? No, somebody else said he's 86. How old is Shlomo?
I have no idea.
Is he? Maybe it is.
Anytime he's on the plane, in the airport, and on the plane, goes every single person asks them.
Puts on tefillin. Every day puts on tefillin somebody.
It's something. It's definitely something that the Rebbe said that he's going to with all this fire, going to greet Mashiach. It's definitely he's something to look up to and to learn from. That that's what we have to do. Every single person has to tutalsus even if and this is, by the way, this is something that in the past few weeks I've been like. It's like bubbling up like in just frustration that even if you don't want to say that Yechi and all those things, just the very simple fact of Tutat Sekent, just to constantly just be living Mashiach. The Rebbe says, and I just saw this. I obviously learned the Sikha many times of Chav Chas Nissen, but it like struck out to me this past week. The Rebbe says right before Tutat Sekent, the Rebbe starts that if by bemoaning the fact that it's possible that there could be a minion, 10 people that are standing together that gather and they don't talk about bringing Mashiach. They don't talk about it. And I'm like,
they're not
how
bothered
is it possible?
by it.
Correct. How is it possible that Sikha is literally every single year Chav Chas Nissen became a Yom Tiv, so to speak, because of that Sikha, and yet it's possible that there is a gathering of 10 Lubavitchers, 10 Shluchim, 10 people that they their entire life is the Rebbe, and they don't talk about, it doesn't bother them, Mashiach is not it, they don't talk about it. And it's like, bro, this is the one thing that like...
And if it does bother you, then talk about it.
Correct. It's like...
It's not a secret anymore.
You don't want to do it off the base. Yeah. Don't do it off the base. But Koyach Nissen is something that everybody, the entire Lubavitch agrees is very important.
It's got to be a topic. You got to focus on it. You got to do it. You have to make it happen.
Learn it. Learn about it.
Learn it, live it, all the slogans. Anyways.
Chaim. We want.
Chaim. Mashiach Melech. Mashiach now.
Chaim.
ועד כדי כך המדבר גולהום עד העם זול מחי sein, יחי המלך.
ay, 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 ay.